Hey, 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 everybody, this is Chris with Overclockersclub. It is EnGenius time. Okay, so while I'm checking out some of these other cool EnGenius products, one of these shows up. This is the FreeStyle2. This is a really cool cordless phone, but it's not just any old cordless phone. Let's get this out of the box, and spoiler alert, I kind of already had it out of the box. So we're going to pretend like this is the first time I'm getting it out of the box. And logic would tell you that if there is a FreeStyle 2, somewhere there is a FreeStyle 1, and there is. If you look at this graphic here from EnGenius, it compares the FreeStyle 1 to the FreeStyle 2. You'll notice as you scan down the two columns, performance and functionality are pretty much identical between the two. The differences being on the FreeStyle 1, as you can see from the graphic at the top there, the base has a keypad on it, so you can place calls and you can also use it as an intercom, whereas the FreeStyle 2, the base doesn't have a keypad, so you can't place calls from it or use it as an intercom. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. You can also check out the EnGenius website. There are a lot of cool add-on accessories that you can get for the FreeStyle 2 or the FreeStyle 1. So you might want to check that out if the FreeStyle is something that interests you. All right, so before we open the box, let's see what kind of information is on the box. So again, this is the FreeStyle 2 by EnGenius. The first thing here is ultra range, 25,000 square feet, 10 acres, and 6 floors of coverage, up to 6 floors I should say. Expandable up to 9 handsets. This particular setup just has one handset. No interference with DECT slash Wi-Fi and two-way radio. That's really cool. And let's see what else we have here. This just sort of shows you some of the features of the handset itself. And there it shows you can go up to 9 with one little base station there. And let's see, what else do we have? Okay, this shows you what's in the box, but we're getting ready to open the box, so we'll see exactly what that is. And then this sort of shows you a little more as far as where this would be used. And again, I sort of said, you know, this isn't your usual cordless phone. This isn't something you're just going to run down to Walmart and buy. I'm not saying you can't get a good phone at Walmart, but this is not just a cordless phone that you're going to buy because you just happen to need a cordless phone. This is more of a small business or somebody who really needs a really good phone with a lot of range, more than you're going to get out of something you'll buy at, you know, I keep saying Walmart, but something you're going to buy at Walmart for $39. Okay, so here's the little charging station there for the handset. It's got the little port there at the back where you plug in your adapter. And next, this is the base station. And it has some very nice protective plastic. And that is a very nice, very high gloss finish. Look at that. You can almost use that as a mirror. So it has an attached antenna that you can adjust, and it is, let's see here. I'll have to double check how this, oh, it might be a push lock. I'm not sure. I'll have to check it. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so you can remove your antenna here if you want. It has like a reverse thread, but there's your antenna. Yeah, it's got a left-hand thread, so I'm turning left to tighten it. And you got a couple of key slots on the bottom there, so you can mount it to a wall. And then it's got 4 very nice spongy rubber feet to keep it from sliding around the table. Page button right there. I'm already getting fingerprints all over it. That's the good and bad with a nice glossy surface. It really looks nice, but boy, it sure is easy to fingerprint up. And then on the back, of course, there's the port for your adapter. There's a little reset button. We have a telephone and we have a line jack there, so 2 jacks on the back. Moving along, of course you got phone cable. This little box is one adapter, and this is rated at, let's see, boy, that's small print, 5 volts, 1 amp on that. Here's your phone battery. Comes in its own little package there. Here's a little hook there for the phone, so you can attach that like a belt clip kind of thing there for the handset. And this is probably another adapter. And it is, and this one is also 5 volt, 1 amp, so these are the same adapters. Now, what you have all been waiting for, here is the handset. Oh yeah, very nice. Looks like your standard cordless phone handset. It's fairly lightweight. Of course, there's no battery in it. Pop the cover off. There's where you put the battery. Has a speaker on the back. And I'll look at some of the cool features here in a little bit. Has a non-removable or extendable antenna. I don't think that pops up. Doesn't look like it. And then there's a little cover here on the side for like a headphone jack there. Alright, so I think it recommends I charge this thing for like 3 hours before I use it, so off to the charger. So as I'm getting ready to get this charged up, here's the battery, and there's a little removable protective strip there. You need to make sure you peel that off before you install the battery. And let's see, so there's only one way it can go in. So there's a little spring-loaded clip here that sort of holds the battery in, so it looks like I just sort of push it against that. Maybe, oh, looks like you put the leads in first. There we go, and then pop it in. So this end goes in first, and then you push it past the little retaining clip there. All right, so the battery's in. Get the back on it. Oh, there's a little, I didn't see that. There's a little spongy piece there that puts pressure on the battery to hold the battery in place so it can't pop loose. So like if you drop the phone or something, you won't dislodge the battery. I see EnGenius is living up to their name. Of course, the down force, you just have to push a little bit. There we go. That's a good idea. I like that. And the adapter is plugged in, and I like to have the little strain relief here built into the bottom so you can sort of push the cable in there, and that helps. Basically, what I've found that these are good for is if you knock your charging cradle off the table here, again, it keeps the stress off of damaging the plug in the socket there. But hopefully you don't knock it off the table. Alright, so now, it's beeping at me, and you can see the screen says charging. And I will let this charge for a while. A lot of times the batteries on these things are almost fully charged when you get them, but the little instruction manual here, and yes, I actually read the instruction manual, it says to charge it for 3 hours before you use it. So we'll actually follow the instructions. Now, you may have noticed a moment ago that the screen is backlit, so I don't know how well it shows up in the light, but if I push a key, there we go. So the screen is backlit, and the number pad here is also backlit. And again, it might be a little hard to tell in the light, but I'll show it in the dark a little later. So that's a nice feature if you're trying to find a button to push in the dark. Being backlit is really nice. Now, you may have noticed a moment ago that the screen here is backlit, so if I push a button, you can see that is very nice. So when it's dark, you can read your screen. But also, and it's hard to tell here, the keypad is also backlit. So the whole keypad, when you're in the dark, you'll be able to figure out what button you're pushing. Now the other thing, I don't have a phone line back here at the studio, so I'll have to bring this up to the house to plug it in and test some functionality. Alright, well, I've been using the phone here now for several weeks, trying to get a feel for how it performs. And the big thing, of course, is sound quality. So it sounds very much like any standard handheld cordless phone. Not really any better, not any worse. So performance in that regard is about what I would expect. Now, the other big thing, of course, is range. And right now, the charging station is about 150 feet away from the base station, which is up at my house. So the signal has to go through several walls, windows, doors, a large garage door out here in the studio, and the sound quality is just fine. I get no static, no dropped signals, no issues. And I've walked all around several houses down, about 6 houses down in my neighborhood, and the sound quality and the signal are just fine still. So I really need to try and walk far enough and see how far I can go before the signal starts to degrade or I just lose the connection altogether. So that is the next thing that I'll do. Alright, so I went out and I walked 2,000 feet into a cornfield across the street, southwest, and I still got a strong, clear signal. There was no static, no fuzz, no issues at all. I was surprised. In fact, I ran out of cornfield. There was a tree line. I couldn't go any further. So I thought, well, I guess I'm just going to have to get in the car. So I drove due east approximately a half a mile, and the signal dropped out. And I came back and went due north, and the same thing, right at about the half-mile mark. So that tells me that this probably has close to a 1/2 mile radius, which really blows me away. Now, as with any device, Wi-Fi device or wireless device, your mileage will vary. There are so many factors that go into it. What sort of area you live in. Now, I'm sort of in a rural area. There really aren't many buildings, no businesses, not a lot of development. So that's probably the best case as far as not having an issue with signal interference. Now, if you lived in a city where you had a lot of buildings, apartments, a lot of people, businesses, you may not get that kind of range. But all I can do is tell you what I got, and I'm absolutely blown away. And I have not charged this since then. Look at that. The battery still shows fully charged, and I spent at least 2 hours fooling around with this phone, walking around and testing it. So again, very impressed. Now, I said I would show what the backlight looks like, so push a button there and you can see all of the numbers light up. Of course, the screen is backlit. So that's what that looks like. So there are a lot of functions that you can access here through the phone. So you hit the menu button and you can walk through all of the different features. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one, but I'll show you some of the basic ones, like the phone settings. You can adjust the microphone gain, headset ring, change the password, custom name, language, name tag. You can adjust the backlight, contrast, any key talk, and we're back to the microphone gain, and we'll go back. Call settings, you can make adjustments. You can change the ringtone, you can change the sound. So let's look at some of those. So there's the ring volume, key tone, key volume. So let's look at the key tone. So you can select that. You got the key volume, the ringtone itself. So you have quite a few options to select. So it looks like the same tone selection for your intercom as your regular phone. So, well, let's go back. Phone book, key guard. So, a lot of different things you can select and adjust through the menu. And one thing I actually forgot is the line volume. There's an option here to set it to vibrate, just like a cell phone. So there's vibrate and high volume. There's just vibrate. Of course, I can certainly feel it. And then you have the volume levels. And I have the bass unit up here in the garage. So let's see what the page sounds like. That's pretty loud. And I think we can just hit that to stop it. Yep. Now the system here handles up to 9 handsets. So you can buy additional handsets. They're about $139 a pop. But that enables you to do intercom calling or broadcast. So you can hold this down right here. And I can basically talk to whoever I want to who has an additional handset. So that's a really nice feature. And I do have some more details here on the FreeStyle2 quick reference sheet, page 3. Anyone who is interested in the operating frequency here, it's 900 megahertz for this phone as opposed to the 1.9, 2.4, or 5 gigahertz, which is much higher. And the lower frequency is able to use more power, so it has the ability to travel over a larger distance, and it is not affected as much by buildings and trees and things like that that get in the way of the signal on higher frequency Wi-Fi devices. So that is why they use the 900 megahertz. And the main feature set here is that it's scalable. So again, like I said, you do have the ability to support up to 9 separate handsets. You do have to purchase those separately. It's got the high power, high sensitivity for extreme wireless ranging connectivity, which I just proved that with showing it can go up to pretty much a half-mile radius in range, at least in my environment. Has a speakerphone in the handset, two-way intercom, and simultaneous broadcast to multiple handsets from any handset. Of course, I can't really test that because I only have one handset. I do admit at first I was a little skeptical, thinking about $349 for a cordless phone, but this is much more than just a cordless phone. And it operates and has the basic functions of any cordless phone as far as storing phone numbers and caller ID and all that kind of good stuff. But it also has these other features that, of course, set it apart. And again, this is not really meant for, the casual home user. This is something if you have a business, if you have a farm, a ranch, or somewhere where you need to keep in contact with several people and you really need some serious range, then this is a phone that you would need to use. So like I said, very skeptical at first, but I came away really a believer in this little FreeStyle2 phone from EnGenius. So I would absolutely give this the Overclockers Club Editor's Choice Award. This is Chris with Overclockers Club. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.